Hello, everybody. Tahoe Yak Fisher here. We are moving forward on the trolling motor project. We are going to put this motor on my new Recon, Wilderness Systems Recon, and we're going to use this trolling motor bracket to do it. Now, if you look at that picture, that almost looks like the back of a Recon or a Recon prototype. This was $100. I bought it on Amazon. And here is what it comes with. We've got the motor mount and we have some various hardware. However, it didn't fit. As you can see, I have doubled up the plastic HDPE, basically cutting board. The clamp on my motor, you can see that this space is bigger than that amount of threads. It bottomed out before it clamped down. But I had a piece of cutting board. And interestingly enough, I would like to point out, you see this cutout here. If you go back to the first video I put on YouTube, I bought that cutting board and used it to make a fish finder adapter. And it's been hanging around in my shop ever since. And so here is what we did is I used the piece of HDPE it came with. I removed it, traced it, cut it out. I did have to use longer screws and nylox and washers and that sort of thing. I had to buy a couple of the nuts. I had enough random screws from other projects that some of the hardware I had. Anyway, let's go out and take a look at how it's going to fit on the kayak. Okay, guys, so you see here the cutout that the boat has, or the depression in the molding that it has for the motor mount, and that goes right in there. I kind of found the place where I could get it nice and tight and flat, and marked my holes, and we're going to be able to back it. It says in the instructions for this plate that whenever possible, use backing plates, and I'll show you what I have for that purpose inside. I started rigging up my hoist to see how that's going to work, but I can't really do it until we have the motor on. So let's drill some holes and get the motor on. Okay, you guys, so the hardware that the bracket comes with is 1/4 20, and the holes in the plate are quite a bit bigger than 1/4 20, so you don't have to be really exact. Now, we are going to want to be really careful right here that we don't damage the tubing underneath for the rudder control. So I'm just going to be real slow. It's real easy to drill through this plastic, and I'm going to take my time and use a slow speed. I'm going to use a pilot hole, even though I don't have to be real exact. I'm going to start small, and we'll be back when we got some holes drilled. All right, guys, we got some holes drilled in the kayak, my least favorite part of the game. Let's take another quick look at the hardware. Okay, guys, so we've got nylox and screws and washers. It says in the instructions to use a backing plate whenever possible. I dug through my junk and found these. They are close enough that I will be able to use them as backing plates like that, obviously. So let's go bolt it on and see how it looks. Okay, guys, this, what I was trying to use as a backing plate isn't working. These holes are a little too far apart. I could drill them bigger, but instead I dumped out my bucket of bolts, and what I came up with was 4 of these. They're super thick, they're treated for corrosion, and they fit, and they have full purchase of the plastic from underneath. So we're going to bolt these on under instead of this. So this is going to be my backing plate, and these are pretty big. They're probably 2.5 inches. So okay, back to bolting it on. All right, you guys, we did it. It was not as easy as 4 bolts should be. There was not enough room for the big washers under here because of the curve of the kayak here. So I ended up using that plate across these two and those big fat washers under these two. And now, you know, it feels pretty solid. You can lift the kayak by it obviously pretty easily. So you know what's next. Let's see how the motor looks. Okay guys, here it is. Now as you can see, I've kind of started plumbing my hoist mechanism. I don't know if that's gonna work yet. That's just where it is. But here's our motor. The creaking is me walking through the snow, by the way. There's still a pretty fair amount of snow around here. Anyway, there's the motor on the back of the kayak with the Wilderness Systems transom mount installed. We've got some good backing. We've got the motor trimmed down. It looks like it's plenty below waterline. And now the question is that enough lever to lift it? So that's why we want that post to stick up, because it's the lever that we're going to hoist it out of the water with. Anyway, I've got some stuff to do before I'm ready for that. I got some plugs today, so I needed to get the motor on so that I can start figuring out how we're going to wire it. We still have to do a PWM. We still have to do a few things, but the motor is on the kayak. I'm very excited. We're going to be fishing before you know it. All right. Thanks very much for watching, you guys. Tight lines, Yak Fisher out.